The energy debate has moved to the forefront of the presidential campaign. Senator McCain is calling for America to invest in its greatest natural resource, coal. And he wants to allocate $2 billion a year for the development of clean coal. Senator Obama, on the other hand, would spend up to $15 billion a year on biofuel research. Joining us now, former presidential candidate, former New York City Mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Mr. Mayor, good to see you.
How are you, Sean? Well,
we appreciate you being here. You know, I look at Barack Obama's position. Can't expand coal mining, can't drill, can't refine, can't use nukes. Now, I'm thinking...
It means we just stop. I mean, if you listen to it, it's a political appeal, and it means nothing will happen in the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to drill for more oil. He doesn't favor expanding nuclear power, and he doesn't want to expand the use of coal. Biofuels are a good idea, but for them to be effective, it's going to take 5 to 10 years. Well, what do you do in the interim? For energy, like on a hot day like today in New York, you need nuclear energy, you need coal, so you should try to make it clean coal the way John wants to do. And you have got to open up more drilling. You just have to do it to get between now and 20 years from now.
But I want to talk about the consequences, because beyond the debate about Anwar, which is where I think we focused probably too much attention, this is about America. We're now 70% dependent on the oil that we use. This is national security, and we're getting the oil from a lot of countries that maybe don't like the United States and are even enemies.
It is a matter of national security. You have a country like France that's 80% nuclear.
Yeah.
America's only 20%. We're going to slip to 15% unless we regenerate the movement for nuclear power plants. And we have more coal reserves in the United States than they have oil reserves in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Why the heck wouldn't we want to use it? Why do you want to block it unless you're responding to some kind of a political special interest and not the real good of the country?
Let me ask you one question, because you wrote a book on leadership, and this is an important question. I don't think, if we look at the record in the last 2 weeks and all the flipping and flopping of Barack Obama, there's not one thing that I see that he stood by. Now, here's my question. Here's a 46-year-old man. He's never made, as far as I know, any life or death decision. You know, he's never made $1 million deal in his life. He's never made a big decision or a tough decision that I see. You know, you look at the great presidents in our time, Lincoln, you know, throughout history, Lincoln, FDR, Truman, even George Bush, Reagan, they all made tough decisions. How is he going to be president with that?
Well, I think it underlines the single biggest issue in the campaign, that he doesn't have the experience to be president of the United States. And then when he takes positions like this, block coal, block drilling, block nuclear power, you get the sense of a person who's never had any practical experience.
Hey, Mayor Giuliani.
You've got to run the darn place for the next 10 to 20 years. You need energy. I was a mayor. I understand the importance of energy.
Got to make a decision.
This city wouldn't exist if it weren't for nuclear power, coal, and oil.
First of all,
unfortunately for some people, they got to just deal with that.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
I never filibuster you.
I'm kidding you.
You know I like you.
Thank you. I like you too.
Oh, there goes the
There's
show.
my liberal street cred. We just don't agree on a lot. That's all.
That's okay.
All right. Look, it's not true that Barack Obama won't drill. In fact, the matter is, nobody's stopping oil companies from drilling. They've got 68 million acres now they can drill on. They're drilling now in many parts of the country. It's not true that no drilling will take place for the next 10 years.
It is absolutely true that he will block drilling offshore. How about this, Alan? I mean, this makes no sense at all, even for someone who is a major Barack Obama supporter. Off the shore of Florida, China may very well be will be permitted to drill for oil. That is 70, 80 miles from Florida, and the Florida limit is 300 miles. China will be taking American oil. And do you think they'll do it as safely as we would do it? Isn't that a totally impractical position from an inexperienced person?
But it's not true that no drilling goes on in this country. Why then, to follow up on what you just said,
we
have oil in Alaska that we ship out and sell to Japan. Why do we do that?
Well, because we're making more money that way.
Well, why not use it domestically?
The reality is, if you increase the supply, you will reduce the pressure on cost. There is tremendous, significant possibilities of oil offshore. We should take advantage of that, and then we would have a real increase in supply.
Why not stop the oil companies from being allowed to take U.S. domestic oil mined in Alaska and selling it to Asia?
It's something known as being a private economy. You know, the private property, private economy. You let companies make decisions based on what's more profitable for their shareholders. That's what.
So it's all about money, and the government should support it. Let them make as much money as they want. And forget about the domestic need for oil.
It's all about a free economy. And a free economy has worked for us for a very, very long time. I have a fear that Barack Obama wants to re-engineer that economy. When you look at his tax proposals, when you look what he wants to do to capital gains.
You want to stay the course economically? We've done so well in the Bush.
I don't want to stay the course economically.
I got one last question.
I want to reduce costs. Barack Obama wants to increase costs.
We got
about 10
seconds here.
Am I being vetted?
Yes.
I hope not. It sounds dangerous and painful.
Have you talked to anybody?
I'll talk to my doctor about
Are you
that.
providing any?
Oh, no, I know what you're
All right,
talking about.
Barack Obama and his wife catching flack for letting their usually